Well, hello everybody. I say everyone, anyone who's watching, one and all. Thank you if you're taking the time to join me on a Saturday night, when I'm sure there's many other better things you could be doing. So yeah, basically, it's been over a year since I've done one of these, and as I end up painting pretty much every night at the moment anyway, I thought it's about time I actually switched the camera back on and just had a chat for an hour while I was doing some painting. So thank you very much, everyone who's dropped in. I can already see there's quite a few of you in here. The first thing I see is Yayo Group. I think you may be in the wrong stream, mate. All right, James. Um, so who we got here? We've got Matt, Yorkshire. How you doing? Mortsick, William, Robin. Hello, mate. Mark, Shakos, Lionheart. How you doing, dude? And Steve, how you doing? Have you started your Wars of the Roses stuff after winning Richard? I let Paul know that you won his model. He was really, really pleased. Rich M, hello, dude. Sam Ferguson. Oh, no. Brush and Quill, how you doing, dude? Mobile and Hostile and Bicker. Don, you're all right, dude. Oh, it's nice to see you. Well, thank you for taking the time to join me. Basically, I've got some odds and ends that I'm working on for the next hour. Well, if I say an hour, hopefully it will get done in an hour. And yeah, so I thought I'd just switch this on, have a chat, and go through everything. So basically, what I'm working on at the moment, I've got two bases of Zulus to just get the basing paste on and the textures. So I've just got one big group here. This is one of the unmarried regiments, because I wanted to do black shields because I thought they'd be a lot quicker than doing the other ones where I had all the different patterns on them. However, it's a bit of a pain because I decided to add different highlights on them, so it took a bit longer. And I got another one here where we've got a well, there's only 4 in here at the moment, but that's because I decided on this base I was going to have a few casualties in this corner of the base, and they've sort of stalled the advance, as it were, and there's going to be some bushes at the front here. But I don't stick the casualties on until I've done the static grass, because otherwise all the basing texture and everything is around them, so whereas they would be lying on top of the grass. Well, that makes sense in my head anyway, so I've just got to do some of those. If you've been on the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group, or if you're following my Instagram, I'm just working on some of the new releases from Victrix, which are some of the slingers and archers for the late Romans and some late Romans themselves. So I've just finished this guy. Come on, focus. You can do it. Come on. Nearly focused. There we go. Anyway, yeah, there we go. I just finished this. This is one of my favourite figures that I've actually seen in the last year or so. Staff Slinger, a lot of fun to paint. And these figures generally are just really, really nice. But I'm just working on these at the moment. So these ones are finished. But I'll be using these for Dux Britanniarum or Saga. So I'm just putting the finishing touches on a couple more of them. Like this fella here. And I've also just got to finish a standard for them as well. So it's just a nice, simple evening tonight. Hopefully I've got 3 different periods represented on here at the minute, because I've got a 0 to 100 miniature over here that I thought I'd lost, which I couldn't bring to CrackCon, which is the adjutant for the Germans. And I've also got my Thirst. So no one else will have seen this yet, apart from a couple of people I've messaged. This is a Byzantine test model for my Byzantines, which will be going into First Crusade project. Come on. Come on. Damn it. Oh, well, I need to get a much better webcam. Anyway, this is him. So he's just a test one for what's coming up. So yeah, guys, if you've got any questions or you want to chat about anything, just ask away. Can be on anything. It helps if it's vaguely related to what I cover, because I haven't got 3 other people with me to pick up the slack if I don't know the answer. Let's have a look at what's. Oh God, the comments have started coming in already. Battle group is where it's at. I am going to try battle group, Robin. You've promised me a game. It's true, and Robin is doing some 28mm Bavarians. Right then, okay. Can we still retreat in good order? I have no idea what you're talking about, James. Still building the Wars of the Roses stuff. Excellent. Need to order bases and flags. bases. What are you going with? Are you going to go with the big red bat bases like I tend to do on everything now, or are you just going to use the ones that come in the Perry box? Lionheart, you're working on some Victrix Normans and decide to replace Conquest games Normans for so. See, that's the problem. I'm thinking now, because these are so nice. These Victrix late Romans, which again I've done as Arthurians. These are so nice. I might have to replace my entire Dux force for them. I know that almost sounds like madness, but these are lovely. And now that I found out that Gripping Beast make the banner set based on the Warlord Chronicles books, which are the Bernard Cornwell Arthurian books, this banner sheet here is entirely inspired by the descriptions of the standards in those books. And the main character's standard, Derval, that's the 5-pointed star. The bull, I think, is the Gwent men, and then there's the Pendragon, and then the bear, which is this one, is Arthur. So I might have to redo my whole force. That's the pain, isn't it? Let's just go down and have a couple more comments, and I'll just get started. Tempted by Big Red Bat, hundreds and hundreds of Zulus. Starting your Panning, just starting your Wars of the Roses tomorrow. What are you doing? Anything in mind, or are you just gonna build them and see? Because that's one of the good things about the Wars of the Roses. You can just kind of build them up however you want, and then just add in a lord, and you could just vary them if you wanted to. You don't have to paint any livery on them at all. Just go with some sort of standard looking medieval stuff. What else have we got in here? Steve, paint water in a glass. No, over here, this is my eldest daughter's sippy cup. So she's 6 now, and I've had this since she stopped using it, and I like it because it has the 2 handles. It makes my life easier. My drink tonight is over there in the coffee, because as you can probably tell from my voice, I'm actually getting over a bit of a chest infection. Which I'm going to blame on CrackCon, and yeah, I'm feeling a little bit rough. So if I start having a coughing fit halfway through the stream, I apologise now. Bicky, you're working on some epic ACW artillery. With a little luck, that Gettysburg project will be done by tomorrow evening, at least on the Confederate side. Excellent, fantastic. Brilliant. Right then, well, I think the first thing I'm going to get on with is I'm just going to sort out this standard for the banner bearer for these guys. So I've already prepped the standard, but I'm just going to use glue. I started using. I've just gone to the period now where everything just has to have banners. Just so many. I don't want little amounts. I want more. So when I'm doing banners, I tend to put the glue on neat, at least where it's going to be contacting the banner pole. And then when I do the rest of it, that's when I just put a dab of water on. That's it. Just blame Ken. I blame Ken for a lot of things. Bless him. Ooh. Okay. I don't know why I've decided to do this one separate from the model. I think it's because I'd already painted the model. There we go. Let's just scrunch this up a little bit. Cow, brushing quill. Don't forget to have one with only one hand for the Warlord Chronicles. Absolutely. Have you heard? You know, they made it into that. They've now got it ready for TV after the success of The Last Kingdom. There's so many things in this Victrix set you can do, and because it's all quite interchangeable with the other Victrix sets, there's an awful lot you could do. Because I quite like the, I think it's the men of Gwent, isn't it? Who they keep the Roman style. They're still wearing togas and things, so you could make the late Romans look like them. And it's just, I really, really hope they don't screw up that TV show, because I love those books. In my opinion, they're Bernard Cornwell's best books out of everything. Out of Sharp. Kind of thinking the other thing, Last Kingdom and all of that, the Anglo-Saxon stuff, Starbuck. I really, really like these books. And I think he said that actually that they're his favourites as well. I also like them because of their portrayal of Lancelot, and they just make him into an evil, evil bastard. So that's how this one's going to end up. The Banner of the Bear. I'll just let that dry. I'll stick that on, and then I'll have to varnish it. You watch, I'll keep knocking this over now. All right. So anyway, yeah, what's everybody? I can see what you guys are doing. What's this? Heresy. Oh, Burrows. What's this? Sorry, I missed all this. David Enoy, Burrows and Badgers. You're right, David. How you doing, dude? They are lovely, lovely figures, aren't they, mate? They are lovely. Did you manage to have a go? Obviously, Burrows and Badgers was on the table next to me last week, and I saw that Luke was mobbed. I know that I think out of the 30 odd figures he had to give away to people that had joined in, I think he left with about 2. So I know I think he got a really good reception on the game. So that was good. That's also probably why I've got a cold, because everyone was gathering around his table, which was directly next to mine. Russian, what am I going to use Arthur's Heavy Cavalry? I've actually got the Footsore miniatures ones. I've had them for about 2 years, and I've not painted them. The Heavy Cavalry, the the cataphract, Sarmatian looking cavalry that they did. They did it as a set. I got given that for my birthday about 2 or 3 years ago, and I've not done anything with them. So I'll get a move on. I mean, one of the cool things about Dux Britanniarum is troops become available to you as you play through the campaign. So the heavy cavalry, nobody starts. Well, the Saxons don't get heavy cavalry, full stop. But the Britons, the Arthurian heavy cavalry, only turn up about halfway through your campaign, and they also turn up with a mid-level lord who I think is meant to represent. You could just call him Arthur if you wanted. And they arrive in groups of 4. So what's quite fun about this game is once you've got your starting force, which is it's about 36 figures, I think. You only sort of get reinforcements in 2s and 6s, and it's very rare that you will ever recruit more than 6 new men into your warband. So you've got time in between games to actually paint stuff up, which is quite nice. Don, I've not read Sharp, but you have read Arthur in the last Kindle books and agreed, top notch. Absolutely. And apparently they're just doing one season per book, so just be 3 seasons, which is good. I just like a nice 3 seasons. There we go, beginning, middle, end. With you all the way on mobile, with you all the way in the TV adaptation, we'll give it a few minutes, but if it doesn't match up to my love of the books, then we'll go. See, I'm a sucker for anything Arthurian, be that really, really bad adaptations and classic adaptations such as Excalibur, which is obviously all based on Thomas Mallory's sort of romance. So weirdly, I didn't realise, and this is something I'm going to have to do for the Wars of the Roses, I didn't realise that Thomas Mallory was a retainer of the Earl of Warwick at the Wars of the Roses. He fought at Barnet on the side of the Earl of Warwick, so I'm going to have to do him. Definitely. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, and I think I was looking at a list of retainers trying to find someone to paint, and he just popped up. I just think at the time, because I was going to put him on the command base, and for some reason I can't remember why I didn't do it. He probably had a really complicated coat of arms. Mind you, I did do the Earl of Warwick's, but anyway, guys, there's 40 of you here. Thank you very much for taking time to drop in. Remember, like the stream if you are enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, feel free to dislike it. It's absolutely fine. Thank you for sticking with it anyway. And yeah, if you've got any questions, just drop them into a chat and I'll try and get into it. David, Luke gives a great demo. Yeah, so Luke got me into Burrows and Badgers originally. I went down our club one of the few times I've been to the club in Cambridge, the 2D6 Lodge, and he put it on for me and my mate there, and then that's how I ended up getting into it as well. So there was no one better to really get you to show him off. Rich, you're painting some musketeers to finish off Parker's shot regiment and doing some basing for some Carthaginians for Saga. Excellent. Mortzik, sorting out paints, finally getting some paint on my winter Germans after 4 hectic weeks of work. That's the way to end it, isn't it? Celebrate by just getting some stuff done on the paint table. Hello, dude. How you doing? You right, Bjorn? How's it going? Hope everyone is well. There we go. That's the first of probably many coughs of the evening. Right. I'm going to get on with some of this. And let's have a look at where we are. Okay, so which one are we going to do first? I'll probably do this one first because this one's going to have a little bit more on it. And yeah, let's have a look. So I'm using the Vallejo. No, I'm not. I'm using the Vallejo. I'm using the AK interactive stuff. And you've probably already seen this on some of the other tutorials, some of the bits that I do. Sorry, this camera's going to shake because it's attached to an arm, which is attached to a drawer, which is where I keep loads of little lollipop sticks that I steal from my there we go, which I steal from my children once they're done with them, and I use them for all of my basing. Bjorn, right now you are, oh god, it's moving so quickly. Right now you are building and maintaining the floor at your train station. Excellent. Is that for 0200? I've been following what you've been doing there, dude. It looks really, really cool. You went to reenactment fair today at St Ives in Cambridge. Load towards the roses, helmet swords and build. Don't tell me that. I used to live in St Ives when I was really, really small. It's got more. I think there was a time. Did they have a War Games fair there? Were there War Games going on there? I think a year ago, weren't they doing something and they were looking for people to put on games? Brushing Quill, if you're dipping back into 40k after playing Tastas, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've got 40k stuff kicking around in here. Sometimes I just like to paint armor panels. Although for my sci-fi fix at the minute, it's battle droids and Star Wars stuff for the moment. David, how many figures do you need to start for ducks? It's about 36, I think. Hang on. See, it's quite easy. I'll have a look in the book. Bit different being on your own. I've forgotten what it's like. It's no one to pick up the dead air. Okay, so if you want to build the Arthurian force, the defenders, you need 2 groups of 6 warriors, 1 group of 6 elites, and 3 of levies. So 9, 8, so 6, 12, 18, so 36. 4 slingers is 40, 44. 44 for the Britons, and then the Saxons would be 18, 24, 36. Yes, 44 models each, which does sound like a lot. Well, it's a lot. It's about 1 pack of it. It's like a pack of Victrix stuff, isn't it? You could probably make quite a lot out of it. I did all of mine out of 1 box of the Gripping Beast late Romans, because they come with archers in them. So I did all out of them and just added some metals from Gripping Beast for my elites. Oh dear. Evening. Oh, hello, Jamie. How you doing? You have a Meg competition at Wars and Swords next weekend. Panic Shield transferring paces, Illyrians. How is Meg? It's something I've always thought about trying, but I've never had anyone else to sort of try it out with. How is it? How do you find it as a system? It's something I've been interested in. Major Clanger, evening from West Yorkshire. How are you doing? He's Brendan doing a solo Napoleonic game with lovely Calpe Prussians, and you've bought 2 Wars of Roses Perry's armies to paint next year, and a 28mm battle group. Is the way to go. Wow! So you go all in, you get everything ready, you buy it all, and then you get started. Awesome stuff. I am already thinking about my next Wars of the Roses force. Yorkshire, know loads of people at the Cambridge Fair. Awesome. Any idea when the next Crusades battle report will be? I don't know. Ask Robin. Robin's in the chat. To be honest, I'm probably going to put up a vote on the channel for what the next battle report will be. We've got so there will be Black Powder. So I've got a couple of people that are going to be playing Black Powder against. That's already sort of in the bag. There will be ECW, but of course I've got the ECW. I play against Miller, and I have to sort out an opponent for that because I don't have both armies, so I can't just get anyone to turn up to my house and sort of just get that out. I have to essentially find someone to play with. So that relies on me finding someone. So hopefully that there will be one before Christmas for that. There's obviously people have asked me if I'll do things like Test of Honor, which I previewed before and talked about, did sort of a run through of the system. Of course, you've got Nevermind Bill Hooks version 2 coming out, which people have asked about as well. Although as I don't have the as I don't have that rule set because it's not out yet. I've got the first edition, but as it's so close to a new one coming out, I don't really see the point in doing a battle report until that one is out. I don't think an awful lot has changed, but I think I'd rather do it once I've got the rules in hand. So I'll put that one like that. This stuff just looks really edible. And then the Crusade. I guess the Crusades. We could. The Crusade games are actually fairly easy to put together because they're quite small scale at the minute. And again, we don't do anything based on points, or well, we in a way we do. We use the force point system that it came up with, which just very, very simply a standard unit that isn't, well, but unless it's an amazing unit and you want to limit it, which is more to do with availability of troops rather than their ability in the game. You give it's 1 point per unit, and then half a point for a small unit and 2 points for a large unit. Although I can't actually remember a time recently where I've actually fielded a large unit of anything. So anyway, sorry. Yes, the Crusades. So potentially we could maybe have one within a couple of weeks up on the channel. I've got some ideas of what we can do. I know Robin's got a few ideas as well, and I have been working on some extras to go in the Seljuk forces. So yeah, so hopefully soon. What would you guys like to see? What battle reports would you like? Leaving out Black Powder, which I know everybody wants, and everyone wants to see, and there will be some. And Haley will hopefully be taking part if I can convince her, and we're not too tired from work and looking after children. But what would you guys like to have a look at? As you have starter armies, so Meg, you haven't played it yet. Are those the Plastic Soldier Company 15mm ones? Have I done any Legion stuff lately? You're planning on doing some more? Do you mean Star Wars Legion? Yeah, I have. I painted up the. I'm just finishing off basing General Grievous. Hang on, here he is. So I've just finished painting him up, and I've just got to sort his base out, and I've done another squad of B1 battle droids, or B2s, B1s. I don't know which one's which. Anyway, I've done some more another squad of battle droids, so I've got a full 600 point Confederacy. If I say Confederacy, everyone's going to think it's ECW. I've got a full droid army, 600 point or 800 points, whatever standard. I've got one of those. I've got a full army ready to go, basically. So potentially I'll be putting something there, but again, I don't have a full list for an opponent. So if I was going to do a battle report on it, I would have to get someone who's got an army together for that. But I do play small games during the week. It's just that I don't put everything like that on the channel. I like to have some games that I play where I haven't got to worry about filming it and editing it afterwards, like that last Wars of the Roses game, which was brilliant fun, but it took a long time to edit because there was nearly 5 hours of footage to basically edit back down. It didn't have a new. You talk about the medieval fair. Is that a Too Fat Lardies rule set? Yes, it is. I think it might actually be the only Too Fat Lardies rule set that I own, because I rely on everybody else buying the rules for stuff like that. Gary, how you doing, dude? You're working on some 15mm Cold War British at the moment, planning on doing individual command stands. Wars of Roses next. That's the plan. Yeah, but there's loads of plans, aren't there? And they always get DU'd. What is Meg? I feel like I'm in the army with all the acronyms. Mortem et Gloriam, dude. It's essentially an ancients rule set with a really kind of cool looking activation system involving colored cards and lots of cool looking dice. And then he's done another one for the Renaissance period as well. Skirmish size, if you're talking about Dux Britanniarum, yeah, it very, very much is. Well, there are 2 scales of encounter in the campaign, and that is raiding and then battles, and you're fighting over territory. Because hang on, let me get the book again. You have maps. I'll put it on the floor. Oh. There we go. So you have maps to use, and you decide which area of the country you're going to fight in, and it could be you're only fighting over 3 or 4 regions. So this one is probably the one I would do because this is where I live. So you would decide that you're going to play in, say, what's Norfolk, and you can see that Norfolk has only got 3 regions. The Saxons invade one region, and you're defending it, and then you could capture that, and then you could expand your campaign and move on to the next region. And it's essentially when a region is won, that campaign is over. And then you have a winner or a loser, and then you just move on. There is an expansion for this, which is also cool as well, because it adds the Irish and the Goths and everything in. And there's a little sort of bit of a role-playing element to it as well, because you actually sort of generate your character, your main character, and he gets a little bit of a personality, and he kind of levels up. You can see here, so you can get like a background. So son of a peasant, son of a warlord, son of a decurion, son of a king. And you can also, I know basically you can end up with this really basically hated warlord, and his troops don't really want to fight for him. But the raids go from things like attacking watchtowers to stealing sheep and stuff like that. And or you have like full on, let's burn down the Roman villa, the Roman villa, and like, kill everybody in it. So I fished this out. This is the watchtower this is the war bases kit for a Roman watchtower, and I basically just added some stonework to make it look repaired, because we're talking, mate, like sort of 5th, 6th century stuff. So the Romans are gone. I added some wattling. So what I did was I got some modeling clay, and I pressed it against the wall, and I got the wattle fencing from Perry that I had kicking around, and I just pressed it in. So I just wanted it to look like, the Britons, they were trying to keep this sort of looking all right, and it failed. So I added on these bricks here, stones, just to make it look like they'd done some repairs, and then just added a scouring pad onto the top. So that was from War Bases. I think that was about £8. And that was essentially just the frame of the whole thing. That was good fun. I enjoyed doing that. It is a period I love. I'm a little bit behind him in the chat, so after I've seen that people have answered the questions that I asked. Has Haley got me buying Pirates yet? No, not yet. It's been hinted at to play a game. I did point out though that of course I can't play a game until it's all painted. So if she wants to play it and do everything, then she'll have to at least help to paint it. Nick, hello, dude. How you doing? Nick Gaines, Battle Report. Crusader, fight over the water supply at the Oasis. That'd be a good one. We've got a couple of wells. Funny enough, I was actually thinking of the next one. I was thinking of like a foraging one, because one of the first games that I did with Robin, the troops we were doing like the troops are foraging for supplies kind of thing. So that'd be quite a good one for the Crusades, because we just did an ambush. And I think it was probably quite unfairly weighted in my side. Looking when I watch it back, he had quite a long way to travel. So yeah, doing some foraging, maybe having a sort of water supply on one part of the table, and then maybe some shelter or some other kind of, like, I don't know, maybe some sheep or something that have got to be captured. That'd be quite cool. Hello, dude. How are you doing? How's it going? David, some good ideas on the rules and that. You're talking about Mortem et Gloriam. Any games you want to learn from other channels? Martin Tries series. I could do that, couldn't I? Martin Tries. I suppose we should do a Martin Tries O group game, since it pops up on here so often. What if I hate it though? Martin wants to try. What's the one that Dom and Ken keep on going on about in Napoleonics? Oh God, I forgot. Is it Brigade? Oh, General Darnay. The thing is, I'm worried now that I'll hate it. That's my worry when people get really excited about games and I get told about how good they are. I get worried that I'll hate it. So I'll have to. That's not a bad idea though. It does look like I'm icing a muffin, doesn't it? I just promise you that this isn't. This is not edible. Hello, Danjan. How you doing? It does, doesn't it? I can assure you, it doesn't taste like vanilla ice cream or coffee. It tastes like paint and grit, which I'm pretty sure is all it is. But because it works really well for what I need it to, so that's why I'm happy to just buy it pre-made. Oh. I think I made a mistake maybe putting all these on here, but it'll be fine. You mind some Test of Honor reports? Yeah, we can definitely do some of those because they're quite short to do. Obviously, me and Haley have our ongoing campaign. Again, it relies on us not being really, really tired. This is half the issue. We were actually, so there were, had so many sort of games and things fall through, but just because of real life, and you can't really help it. Obviously, family and health and stuff has to come first. So now well, I think the only games that really get sort of, let's say long-term planning were the Wars of the Roses ones. And we do organise those quite well because obviously in the last game and the game before that we had Miller as well. So you're organising for 3 people, not just 2. I'm going to have to get a brush for this bit. Hello, dude. How are you doing? How's it going? Are you working on your Victrix stuff as well? Mark, do the Siege of Acre. Yeah, that may be a while. I'm up for it, but it may be a while yet before we get to do that. I've got all of the I can print off a castle and a fortification. I've got all of the STLs from that Kickstarter from about this time last year for Crusader castles. Well, I don't even think it was for Crusader castles, was it? It was for the Reconquista in Spain. I think it was for loads of stuff to do with that. But I haven't actually printed any of it off yet. Mainly because I'm not entirely sure where I would put it all at the moment. So yeah, that's one to come. Okay. Oh. Get this first layer on, and then while this dries, I'll finish off the flag. Is that it? Is that one done? Oh, nearly. There we go. What's that one? Oh, I forgot about him. Hang on. See, I told you that flag would be in the way. What else we got? Triarius. Arthurian battle would be great, and definitely the Siege of Acre. Arthurian would be great. Again, I need someone to build a opposing force for me to fight against. So you can make these. You can make up these new late Romans as Goths, who quite easily double as early Saxons. So yeah, and again, that's part of the problem. Is just some of the games that I want to play and I want to do, I've only got one army for, which is why now when I'm taking on new projects, a bit like these Zulus, I will do both armies. So like my Crusades, I have got both armies, so I can do small games, or if I fight against someone who's already got some models, like Robin, then we can add more models into it, and there can be a bit more of a scrap. So I'm now doing that as standard for pretty much every project that I do. It just seems to work better that way. Test of Honor. As your regular opponent's just got the rules. Okay, so quite a good showing for Test of Honor. Jamie, you like Meg and you like the command system and the classifications. And they update things. Yeah, updates are always good. Speaking of updates, if you want the updated Wars of the Roses list, and might as well say there, the link is down below. I know there's a couple of typos in it because I've already been emailed by a few people, but yeah, sorry about that. What I'll do is I'll edit them, and then when I do the next update, which will be quite a while, I'm not going to put up a new one just because what will happen is everyone will go to update it, and it will just they get flooded with email requests. But it's quite cool because that's already been downloaded 200 times. I only put it up a week ago, so that's quite cool. And what I'll do is I'll try, there'll probably be an update, but next year at some point, probably later in the year, with more stuff or more lords, and whatever we do and we play. Obviously, if you watch my videos, I've got a few things that we're working on for campaigns and rule systems, and like I said in the video, even though I'm not building any more Wars of the Roses stuff at the minute, it's not the end of the Wars of the Roses project. There's still going to be history videos and battle reports and stuff as well. It's just I need a break from building stuff for it, just for a few months. Which kind of games you could do? Battle Group, 28 mil, or historical Wars of the Roses. I'm always happy to do more Wars of the Roses if people want to see it. I just thought that people might want a bit of a break after the last sort of year of stuff. But always happy to do that. Best laid plans, Doom. And say hello, lazy about pirate painting. How you doing, dude? All good, I hope. So I'm just going to try and catch up with these. Oh yes, you did win some Sosnir Purge and Company Crackle on the casting. Oh, is that the I can't remember what you call the stuff. I keep on asking about it. Is it Sirecast? Is that what it's called? I keep on hearing mixed things. Some people love it, some people hate it. Oh dear. Just a question. Oh, come on. Why is that not showing? Just a question, but in Hail Caesar, can I make you use it in different size bases? Yeah. Basically, in Hail Caesar, unit sizes, there is I think a standard unit, they recommend that the frontage on the unit is between 18 centimeters and 28 centimeters, something like that. But as long as your basing is the same as your opponent's, you could do whatever you want. I mean, I use these sort of, these big red bat bases. And so, as long as your basing's the same as your opponent, or if you're making both forces, just make them for yourself. You'll be absolutely fine. You'll be absolutely fine. So no worries there. PS is a good way, and you can find 15 mil metals are very, very cool. War bases terrain is a great starting place. It always needs pimping up. Yeah, I think that's that's absolutely fair enough. I think that's kind of how they basically advertise it, isn't it? Although they are now doing coloured stuff on it. They do those pre-coloured bases. Of course, if you like the War Bases stuff, on Monday on the Plastic Crack podcast, we've got Glenn from War Bases on. So come and tune into that. That's going to be an interesting one. You like the Watchtower? That's cool. We'll probably have to play a game, and then it can be burned down. I know that 2-player starter set's out. I'm terrified about it because I'm gonna buy it. I'm definitely gonna buy it. Whether or not I buy it with somebody is another question. Because I'm a sucker for that. Because I always have people go, "Oh no, do you want to go halvesies?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, it's a good idea." And then I actually look at them like, I kind of want it all. I kind of want it all myself. Yo group. Turnip 28. I don't have enough stuff to do Turnip 28. You want Soldiers of Napoleon? Well, the Soldiers of Napoleon will be on the channel at some point. Before I put a battle report of Soldiers of Napoleon, I just want to have at least a game without filming it, so I can just get the. I mean, that's what I do for most systems and most games that I play. If it's something that's fairly new, I'll play a game outside of the channel just so I can get the basics down, because I know people like learning games and things like that, but I still think it's good that if you've been through it like at least once. I mean, obviously the way I film battle reports and that there's I do skip parts of the or speed things up, but if there's going to a lot of rule book checking, I think that'll get monotonous, especially for me when I'm editing it together. Sorry, what I'm doing at the minute, I use a bit of sponge, and I'm dabbing water onto the top of the two pastes like this, and basically it just kind of mixes them together and blends them together. It also, because it's got water on it, it gets rid of any peaks that I've made as I am putting it on. Also, the light sort of sponge technique will rub off on the minis, and it basically weathers their feet and things and their lower legs a little bit, so I don't mind that kicks up. Because when this stuff dries, it goes a nice pale dusty color. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, because I do all this while it's wet, so this here, we're now going to add a stone. Now I've handily got a lot of these because garden centers have a lot of these testers in their car parks where you can just go and just help yourself. So that's what I do. So let's have I just want a sort of a low stone, maybe just something like that. And then I'll be putting some bushes. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I just get some water and I just get the surrounding material. Let's paint it on it. And this doesn't change the sort of the full color of the rock, but this stuff just makes it look like dust and earth and everything that's gone in. And I've just realized that I've done a bit of an error here, but that's not a problem. I'll get that sorted out. Right. Okie dokie. So let's leave those to dry for a second and let's get rid of this very, very messy piece of kitchen towel with everything on it. I go through so much kitchen paper. So let's have a look at some comments while just get ready to do that. So sounds like Crusades, one man and his dog. Absolutely. LaSalle is good fast for Napoleonics. Have I ever thought about starting a Prussian Napoleonic army? Yeah, I did, and I was going to do a Prussian Napoleonic army. And then after painting up 1500 to 1600 British and French, I kind of sat there and thought, do I need one? And I sold the stuff that I bought. In fact, if you have there's a video where I did a Prussian sort of painting tutorial for the Landwehr. That's the only unit I ever actually painted. I sold that, and I also sold the stuff that I bought to go with it. So if I did do one, I'd maybe consider doing one in that epic scale stuff, but I don't need it. I've got 2 armies. I'm happy with that. Shakos, you weren't too convinced by General Army. Felt like there was a bit too much chart checking. See, that's my concern. I don't know. I'm just worried that it's just not. I'm not going to find it fun. But then that's just a fear, I guess. I need someone to show me and someone to play it. Just steal Ken's rules and return them if you hate them. Should do, shouldn't I? I'm going to be going up to see him actually, and then going down this club that him and Dom game at, and then we're hopefully going to be going to Warfare the next day. So if you guys, anyone's going to Warfare, you'll see us, the 3 of us there. I'm going to assume that Steve won't come. He's done his sort of annual outing, so I can't see him coming down all the way for that. But there'll be 3 of us there. It would be cool to do something based on the Franco-Prussian War. There's a really, yeah, I know. I very, very nearly did the Franco-Prussian War, and then I came into possession of all these Zulus and British. So I haven't actually. So I bought 1 box of these, and people have been very kind who didn't want them, and I had basically some stuff just sent to me, and I just love painting them, especially the Zulus. I find them quite quick and easy to paint, so it's something that I just basically want to do. I know how. I don't know his version 2. I've got a drop zone army. I've got a P8 PCR, PHR. I got the robot dudes, like the cyber. I've got an army. I like drop zone. Teaching the MFA guys chosen men at the moment. Excellent. I imagine Johnny B will like that. Bigger soldiers and opponents interesting me as well. See how it works for larger battles. Yeah, well, I like it that it's designed to be basically part of a larger battle, and you can have it on the 6x4. Of course, got Flames of War as well. And I know Flames of War gets a bit of a hard time, but I really enjoy Flames of War. People go on about tank parks. I've never had that. I don't know if maybe I'm playing it wrong. I don't know. But I had a great time with Flames of War, and I've got the Tobruk thing, so I haven't played it on that version, so it might be worth playing it through. It was actually Haley's. I did. She said, "Can we do something with tanks?" And I saw that, and I knew, obviously Stu Mackey's doing some Flames of War, and I know Robin's got loads of 15mm stuff, and I know he's got that set as well. So I picked it up as well. What else have we got in here? You'd imagine the bonuses for Crusader orders like hospitals remove casualties new. Yeah, they probably would. The thing is, what I'm doing. Those holy orders don't exist yet. I'd probably put them in a little bit if I wanted to do some Crusading Kingdoms like slightly later. I'd probably add some of that in then. All right, let's go here. What I'm more interested in at the minute is doing bonuses for the crap command structure. So essentially, the Saxon units won't take orders from the Norman units, or if they do, they might blunder more easily. The Byzantines don't like the Normans, the Normans don't like the Byzantines. Italian Normans don't like the French Normans. So I think that's going to be quite fun to play around with. But I will be going through and making and doing what I did for Wars of the Roses, and getting, if we use like Bohemond or Tancred, they'll have their own little stats and personal systems. Hello, Leslie, dude. How you doing? Ken will help you out with what? Is that with General Dame? I hope not. Ken's never taught me a game. If you're listening, Ken, you have to teach me again. He's never taught me a game. Quick question: what color was the Piat bomb case for late war British? I'm going to assume that someone else has answered this because I do not have a clue. Try and get Robin to knock down the watchtower of his ballista. Luckiest the fourth. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not saying a word. Hello, GP dude. How you doing? Martin introduced us to any new DG games. I'm not that bad. Although I will say that I was quite proud of myself because I was running the demos of 0-200 hours at CrackCon, and the shop then sold out of all the starter sets and a bunch of the expansions. I would say the 2 expansion sets. So I assume that some people enjoyed it. Right, where are we on here? Shakers, I can make up for Martin's lack of Prussians. Please do. Please do. It's not that I didn't want to do it. I just got to that point where it's like I've got so many things that I want to do, so many projects that I want to do. You know, the Wars of the Roses is my big project. I've got 2 massive Napoleonic armies that I'm not really going to ever. I rarely ever field the whole thing. So do I really need this? Which I know as a wargamer is a bit of a silly thing to say. There we go. There he is. I tried to make this guy. Now this is that film with Clive Owen and Ray Winston, and the one when they tried to make King Arthur a little bit more historical, which isn't the greatest film, but it's got an amazing soundtrack. But I did try to make this guy look a bit like an angry Ray Winston. I don't know if he's going to. There we go. Lovely minis. Very nice set. So I just need to varnish the flag, and then that's all good to go. So that's another one down. The cool thing is you can make these units up pretty much how you like, and you know they've got the weapons that they carry. It doesn't matter. They've just got, you know, if they're elite, I think they had 2 dice to combat. If they're not, they had 1 dice. So you can make them up to look how you want, which is quite cool. Okay, I'd love to pick your brains at some point about Black Panther for 1803. Okay, we'll have to sort that out when we sort out our game. We'll have to have a chat. Am I planning on revisiting Tesla? Absolutely. That is going to carry on. Don, Flames of War is great for what it's designed to do. If you're looking for a hardcore historical accuracy, it's probably not the game for you. Exactly. It depends on, and that's it. Are you looking for a simulation or are you looking for a game? And that's the same across the board with lots of systems, isn't it? Hail Caesar isn't exactly the bigger, you know, most accurate system. All you can do is add flavor to make it better represent the period that it's trying to represent. I just forgot I want to add some footprints to my bases. I'll just use a brush, or the back of a brush rather, put in some water. All right, so that's done. So once these are dry, I'll then add on static grass. And it's not arid plains or anything in North Africa. Well, I say North Africa, in South Africa, sorry, in Zululand. I'm just grabbing one of these. So I actually like to have quite a lot of foliage on there. So it'll look a little something like this when they're done, except with black shields. Fiasco, it's next weekend. Looking forward to shows after COVID break, plus point shows. It's an Imperial Wars. Cool. Yeah, lovely demo. Sam, I'm glad you enjoyed it, dude. Sam, who took part in 0-200 hours. I'm glad you had a good time. That King Arthur was in the front to young Griffith. Yeah, I know. I think the thing that drives me nuts is that it's not even nuts, actually. It's just he throws his sword at the 2 swords on his back. But there's some really good parts. Like, I actually quite like the way that they portrayed it. You know, you had Tristan was like they play him as like a samurai wielding Mongol or something like that. Samurai sword wielding Mongol. And that was Mads Mikkelsen, wasn't it? And in Boars, as Ray Winston was just ace. I mean, it was just funny. But I get what they tried to do. I appreciate what they tried to do. And the Hans Zimmer soundtrack is great. In fact, my favourite thing about that entire film, I think, is Stellan Skarsgård as the Saxon. Is it Cerdic? I quite liked him. So there's some good stuff. I think I did go to cinema to see that back in 2004. I think. Lionheart, nice center red. Cheers, dude. Appreciate it. As if we played again on Monday evening, the journey home was half the time it took to get to Derby. Oh, is that the Wars of Roses game? Oh, is that when Don used his dice and he blundered on like his first roll or something? Oh, Salute tickets now on sale. Oh yeah, I can't do Salute next year. It's actually on my wife's birthday, and as it's her 40th and there's a big party, I've already attempted to suggest that how about I get out of your hair for the day, and I'll be out of the way, and that, and I wasn't even dignified with an answer. There was just a look, and the look said, "No, Martin, that is not an option." So I won't be doing Salute next year, which is why I may be looking at doing I am looking at. We are going to go to Warfare in November, so that'd be cool. So yeah, down to either to the Farnborough War Games Club place that Ken and Dom play at on the Friday night, or Dom's gaming shed, whichever. I say shed, luxury penthouse thing. And then Warfare on the Saturday, and then I think I'm doing wedding stuff with Ken on the Sunday, and then I'm gonna have to get home, ready to start work on the Monday. Yep, first roll the new PCP dice, double sixes. See, they roll sixes. Everyone's going on about it's the same guy who makes the PCP dice, makes the dice that I use in the battle reports. All right, see, they just roll sixes, which is fine unless you want to use them for an order. How did Haley's age in public? Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. Before I mention that. It's all right. I got something delivered to the house the other day, and that got posted up in the Facebook group before I was even home. All that were the transfers. That's what it was. It was for these. It was for these shield, the Byzantines. That's what it was. It was the transfers for the shields from Battle Flag. Hey, here comes the Chinese dating bots. Goodbye. And you're gone. Fantastic. Although that has just deleted about 6-7 comments. The Tinder hobby, absolutely. Oh, 55 of you. Thank you for tuning in, guys. If you're just joining, we're just we're chatting various things. Though a lot of it's about sort of late Romans and Arthurian stuff tonight, seeing as that's what's on the painting table. If you're just joining in, feel free to post a comment. Let us know what you're working on as well, or if you're actually doing any hobbying, or are you just chilling out? Let's try and get the flesh on this guy done. Where's my tiny brush? I really do like these models, and I've said that a couple of times already, but I just really like how simple they are, but with enough detail to keep them interesting. I've got to say that over the last year, the kits that Victrix have put out, so ever since they put out that Norman set, I've been really impressed. Really impressed with them. And that's not to say that everything. Some of the renders that they put up and some of the positioning of the people, they, some of them look to us a bit. Okay, these look a bit sort of janky. I'm not too sure about those, but then they must listen to feedback, because I did go back and compared the sprue to the one that they previewed, and they have changed position slightly. So they clearly listen to feedback. I'm not saying my feedback. I didn't comment or anything, but they clearly revisit stuff, which is good. There we go. But yeah, so no, there's plenty coming on the channel. So the video I'm working on at the moment is the painting video for the Arab Light Cavalry, the Grip and Beast one. Because I've had a lot of videos asking me how I do my Seljuks, and I mean, there's no point in me doing a video just on the infantry, because the way I paint the infantry is the way I paint the rider, so I might as well just do the one for the horse and the rider. It's like the poem in Lord of the Rings. Where's the horse and the rider? And then you obviously can just ignore the horse bit. So that's the next one, but the painting videos always take a little while to edit because I have to sort of add a little bit more and then record a voiceover for it. And then, yes, hopefully there will be a battle report of some description. There's a hobby update coming as well, where I'll be giving some updates on these figures I'm painting at the moment. A bit more on sort of the campaign rules that we've been working on for the last year or so, off and on. And if I've done any more additional stuff on the rules that I'm writing, I dare say I'll give little updates in there. But like I said, that's going to be a lot slower. I've play tested a couple of sort of things with Robin after our games. I've play tested it with other members of our sort of local little gaming group, and I've done a lot of solo tests against myself for the system. I'm pleased with what I've got. Hopefully other people enjoy it. If they don't, then at least I had to go. So we'll see how that turns out. Maybe I'll have to do that at CrackCon or something. Maybe I can run the next one, run some demos, see what people think. Where are we going? So a minute ago, I swear there were no comments, and now it is full. So let's go. Here we go. Ken's joined us in chat. Tinder hobby bots, assembling Warlord. What's this? You're assembling Warband and Ops for 5 Leagues from Borderlands. I don't know what that is, dude. What is that? How much feel you plunder the region in your campaign? There's Simple Martin. Dom with his fat fingers will be happy. Russian Quill, the new Victory stuff is nice. I was shocked when I went back to the French. Yeah, I've still got some of the old guard, and I've had to do so much cleanup on them. But then they're very basic, aren't they? It's just blue and then like black bears. Because I still have nightmares about when I did their British. The British set put me off Victrix for quite a while, and it wasn't until I bought the Norman, because I'd done the old guard because they were just the easiest way to do old guard. And I bought the British, and the weird thing is that the majority of my British are Victrix. I think 6 out of was it 6 of them? 6 or 7 of my battalions I've made out of Victrix because I bought like a whole load. You're doing your first box of Victrix Late Romans as the Goth option. I think the new Victrix stuff is amazing. Yeah, the Goths, dude. They look wicked. I'm going to mix in some as well for the Arthurians, because what I want my Arthurians to look like is a real sort of mishmash of people in like different cultures who are effectively fighting. Because that's just, I think it looked well cool. But the head options, and also I worked out that these Fireforged Byzantines, the Victrix heads are basically the same size. So I might use some of the early Byzantine heads that come in that set and mix them in with this, and some of the arm options as well, just so we can get a bit of variety, because literally the box is 25 guys that look like this. You have the option to have there's two poses for the spear, and you get 2 swords. There's no command groups or anything, so I'm gonna have to make those myself. So I'm gonna use some bear heads or some sort of different looking heads as well. And the Byzantine Empire was so big anyway, you could argue, there's room to argue there. Cool figures at the time of the Crusades. The Varangian Guard were mostly made up of Anglo-Saxons. That's something that's quite fun. Yeah, if you got the Normans, are so nice details, and remember those Reconquer miniatures, they fit in beautifully with them as well. Compare their old hoplites to the new Romans. It's quite a change. I haven't seen any of their Greek stuff. Well, I've seen pictures, but I mean, I haven't personally. Wargames Atlantic Late Romans look very nice. Yeah, I know. And Steve won a box of them at CrackCon, and he's told me that he can't bring himself to turnip them, so they must be quite nice. Nice. Steve, what's this? Latest issue Wargames is themed around. Yes, I've got it. I got it upstairs. I've been reading it. It's a pain, but I can't. Obviously, we're not talking about this release in that, so I think it's just a coincidence. But yeah, and that figure on the front, that's the Arthur that I've got. That's the model I've got. But I'm so gonna make Kitbash. I say Kitbash. There's so many options on the sprue from this set. In fact, I got it right here. Is this it? Which one? It's this one here. So you can see there's still loads of options that I haven't haven't used, and then everything is compatible with this sprue as well of the unarmored infantry. That I'll build my own warlord, or basically Arthur. Lazy Pirate, you're painting a nice mixed knight of 6mm. At least they're not samurai. To World War II Germans O group, 2885 for bolt action, and Snake Men. Ace. I do like Snake Man. I meant to give away my 6mm army crack on in the charity raffle, and I bloody well forgot it, didn't I? You can kind of compare old victory sets with old GTA graphics. That's it. It's the best way I've seen someone describing it. Macedon. Everyone's got quite a lot. I mean, I've got quite a lot on the go here. I've got World War II, I've got late Roman Arthurians, I've got Zulus, and I've got Byzantines. 5 Legion of Borderlands equals a campaign solo game fantasy from Nordic Weasel Games. All right, I'm going to have to go and check that out. Cheers for the heads up. Yo, sure, I couldn't even give French figures away at crack on. How do Victrix heads compared to Perry heads? They're slight. Well, there's been a scale creep with Victrix since the early stuff. So because the French, like the old guard, they fit in quite well. I mean, they're slightly bigger, but not noticeably. But now, if you put a Victrix, say Norman next to a Perry Norman, there is quite a difference, I think. Having done 6mm for India, wondering if 20mm was the wrong choice for Naps. Possibly, but the thing is, I just love 28mm. I just like getting I like the detail, and I like all the stuff you can do with them. 5 Legion of Borderlands, the solo co-op wargame county fans Nordic Weasel Games series. Outside the battles, you got to love tables. Works well for feed. I'm gonna have to check this out. You kind of sell me when you have, say, campaign solo Nordic Weasel Games. Are you getting the First Crusade Giants in miniature figure? Yes. Yes, I will be. Simon, funny enough, I'm painting some Victrix Normans for a game next weekend too. Struggling for inspiration, though. Nothing wrong with the figures, though. They are really good. I suppose it's, yeah. I don't know. See, I painted each one as an individual. Because I paint them as obviously in bases, and I kind of I basically treat each base as its own entity rather than thinking of it as a unit. So I'm quite happy. I don't mind if some bases have only got 3 figures on, if they're in some kind of an interesting pose, or hang on, where's that one I just did? Where is he? I just dropped my brush. So I had this one, and this whole base was designed around the fact that I wanted the guy here on the high ground, like pointing the way, or like, come on lads, follow me, kind of thing. So I just got the ones who were sort of advancing and put them there, and then I created a slightly higher hump for him to stand on, so you could have this kind of thing going on. So, and then he just slots into a unit, and it's just all my bases I just treat as their own things now, and I'm much happier that way. That way I feel like I can be creative, and I'm not being sort of hamstrung by sort of unit composition. Hello, little Leans. How you doing, dude? You're having a break from World War II and you're painting Raven Guard for the Horus Heresy. Nice. I haven't seen anyone do Raven Guard yet. You're going to post some pictures up in the PCP? I do like the Raven Guard and their stories. Hello, Robin. Modifius have done a full release of the sci-fi version, 5 Parsecs from Home. A nice hardback. Is this another book you've got, dude? Right, hang on. I just dropped my brush. Right, there we go. So hang on, where are we? Right, let's get some flesh tones on this guy. So for my flesh tones, I generally just undercoat it with the white or whatever, grey or a tan color, wherever you use the basic models. And I really like this color, Dark Oak Flesh, to contrast game. It is dark. Well, it's a really dark flesh tone, but it does, gives you a really nice sort of pre-shading. I like it. And then I very simply I use a mid-tone. I'm using this Kislev Flesh from GW because there is a Games Workshop just around the corner from my office, and I will just pick out things like the cheekbones, top of the nose, chin, stuff like that, and then do like the top of the hand that is going to be visible, and then and then bits of the fingers, and then once that's done like this, I will just highlight that very, very, very slightly with a blob of a really light tone. Like usually I use like something that I think is generally described as like elf flesh, anything like that. Anyway, that's what I do for these kind of guys anyway. Ooh. I just try to leave any facial hair and I'll go around that later with another colour. Some people really don't like painting flesh. I really enjoy it. I especially doing things like stubble and things like that. If it's going to be seen, if it's not going to be seen because there's a helmet on the model, I don't, there's going to be lots of shadow on it. I don't bother. But if it's sort of got a bare face and want them to look a bit bedraggled, I do like that. All right, let's have a look what we're doing here. Leslie, you spent the day tidying up after Crackdown 3 and the other games I was playing whilst in the UK. It was lovely to meet you, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time to take the trip over. I'm glad you had a good time. Perhaps you got any sunburned gingers in your Crusades yet? No. Ken is in Southampton. But if you mean on my models, then no. I did have a there's a model. I can't remember. He's basically a priest and he's bald. And I was thinking, do I need to? It's one of the Victrix ones. I think he can't. Where is he? Here he is. He's in the Anglo-Saxon set. And I'm going to have him on a base. Obviously gone out and I thought, shall I do his head like, a little bit more, bit more red. Back to the Wars of Roses, waiting to decide on the next game and then to paint up some more miniatures. Well, you guys did Mortimer's Cross, so maybe you should do something. I mean, maybe you should go in the next one in line, do the second Battle of St. Albans. Bit of a different affair. It's not quite a city fight because it happened just outside St. Albans, where Warwick got basically flanked and they were overrunning all his gun positions. But he even had like fields of caltrops laid out. He had there were sort of chains and gun positions and rebuilder quins. So that could be quite a fun battle to do. I don't think it lasts particularly long. And then after that, you'd be on to Ferrybridge, then Towton. It'd be quite a cool one to do. I'm going to do the Battle of Wakefield, which I think a lot of people is thinking it's just going to be a slaughter. But I quite like the idea of sallying out and seeing if it's winnable. Probably isn't, but it'll be fun. There we go. So this is what I'm going to use for my sort of final highlight. This is a Elven Flesh by sort of War Painter. Hello, Andy. How are you doing? Robin, you have a bald sunburnt priest I call Kenneth. Bless him. Well, yeah, there you go. Bless him. He's a priest. I forgot you've done that one, actually. We've got some ideas for how to use priests and things like potentially if they're in a unit, they'll maybe give that unit a little boost somehow. Nothing game breaking, but maybe they're a bit more stubborn or something like that. Which is easier to paint, the Crusades or the Wars of the Roses? That's quite a. If you mean, well, okay, so if you're trying to be, I guess, historically accurate and things like that, you probably say the Crusades because you don't have all of the various. I mean, there are liveries and there are coats of arms and things, but they're not as widely used, so you can have a bit more of a mishmash. The Wars of Roses, you do have specific liveries, but then some people find that is easier to follow because while not every single person is going to be wearing the livery of their lord, they might just have a sash or a badge sewn on. Those that do, you kind of have an idea of the colours that they would have worn. And the livery coats were given out to their retainers, which were distributed among their men, or at the very least just a sash, so they knew that ultimately which lord they did. So I would probably say the Crusades are easier to paint because you can just kind of do what you want. But if you find it easier to paint, if you've got a rough guide, then I'd say the Wars of the Roses. Martin, do I need to send you my email address to get access to Wars of the Roses house rules? No. If you click on the link below, it sends me hang on, if I check my phone, I'm probably gonna, if you've just tried to do it, right, so I've got all these notifications and this one means here that someone's asking for access. No, you don't need to send me your email address. If you just click on the link below, then it sends me a email. It just says this person is requesting it. There we go. There you guys. And I can just say yes, which is what I've done. The only reason I haven't made it completely open sharing is I did that on the first one, and it was just became a bit of an issue. And this way, I can see how many downloads and things like that have occurred as well. I've never said no to anybody, so but it's just a way to get a look at things. There we go. So if you've requested it, so just click on the link below in the description if you'd like a copy of those, and have a look. Thank you for a decent Siege rules, by the way, Martin. You're welcome. You're welcome. We really enjoyed that Siege game, and that Siege game developed because obviously I wanted the castle, and the idea was, I want to do a Siege, and then I read that awesome set of rules by the Warhammer Ancient Battles. Siege and Conquest that Dom lent me, and this whole thing just developed in a little mini campaign, and it was just great fun. It really was good fun, and it's something I definitely do for the Crusades and just other games. Napoleonics as well. There's plenty of sieges you can do in Napoleonics. Was the Battle of Wakefield Fort? Yeah, that's the one. He sallied out of Sandal Castle, and there's varying accounts of why he left the safety of Sandal Castle. Some people say that the Duke of York was going out to rescue a foraging party that had come under attack. Other people just said that he was like full on, just so arrogant that he thought he was going to win. Other people thought he was maybe sallying out to try and break through. He got himself into a bit of a position, and he wasn't near Warwick, who is his other ally, and his son was in Wales. So what happened was, I think it was probably a mixture of all three, to be honest. Obviously, it went kind of wrong because he ended up enveloped. He couldn't get back into the castle, and he was killed. His son allegedly tried to escape the battlefield. His son was only 16, I think, 16, 17. That was Edmund, the Earl of Rutland, and he got caught by Baron Clifford, who's basically always portrayed as a bit of a nutter, and he killed him. And much like the princes in the tower and the images we see of their murder, where they're painted as these really young, innocent-looking boys with flowing locks. If you look at the painting of the death of the Earl of Rutland, you'll see he's basically kind of portrayed in the same way. But it was okay, so, and again, that didn't then go well for Clifford, because about 2 months later, he was killed allegedly with a headless arrow through the neck, at about just after the Battle of Ferrybridge in Dintondale, which is a bit of low land in between Towton and Ferrybridge. He was killed. He got his comeuppance. So sorry, to answer your question, yes, that was the one at Sandal Castle. Okay, just working war bases, destroy Tudor. There we go. See, war bases, destroy Tudor house. Very cool. Very cool. Leslie, Water Races seems to be very popular at the moment. At least 2 games at Selwyn in different scales using different rules. I think it's just it lends itself very well to wargaming in terms of the what if scenarios. But like, there was so much factional disarray that you can easily imagine. It isn't just York versus Lancaster. It's Neville versus Percy. It's Courtney versus Bonville. And you've got the ones in Norfolk as well, the Pastons versus the Duke of Norfolk, whose name I've forgotten. Mowbray? Is it Mowbray? Howard. Oh, they were both, weren't they? Anyway, you just got all these other little ones. So I think it's quite easy for people to get involved in, which is good because I love it. Evening. Hello, Alid. How you doing? Just back from doing shopping is now one of the jobs I have to do after crack on the derailed expenditure price. Did you have to give a full inventory for everything? You finished your Winter Pilgrims today. Great book. Thanks. Winter Pilgrims is a great book. I mean, it's a very, very run-of-the-mill historical novel. Beginning, it follows chap who gets drawn into the Wars of the Roses along with his friends and partner, I guess. But what I love about it is the attention to detail, because the author has spent a lot of time with reenactors and talks to them about how they do things like to do with the bowstrings, and he clearly loves medieval medical stuff, because they're doing all these operations in there in such grim detail. I never ever want to read about a fistula being removed from someone's butt cheek ever again, because that was in detail. That was cool. Wars of Roses, less fancy tabards and horse dressing. I'm not going to lie, but when I think of York and Lancaster, I think of Homer Simpson and Ned Flanders. Yeah, essentially. I think Wars of Roses is easier for the Crusades. It takes me a long time to make the figures look more individual and ragtag. Okay. Like I say, I think it just depends on which kind of way you want to go. You're welcome. You like Napoleonics because it's similar to paint by numbers. Yeah. Dom's the same. He says when he, I'm sure he's not going to mind me saying this, but when he's painting, if he's got like a uniform guide to follow, he's happy. If he doesn't, then he starts getting, he's a bit like, well, what do I do? What do I do here? And that's absolutely fine. I completely get it. I kind of go sort of the other way, I think, which is I want to do things my way. So I like doing things sort of having a rough guide. And I think that's why the Wars of Roses is on, because a lot of the Wars of the Roses is just conjecture. We just base a lot of our livery colours on descriptions within the chronicles and the colours of the standards. And the standards that you see on all these wargaming websites, a lot of those are conjecture. There's only, I can't remember how many it is now. There's only a few that we actually know for certain. And a lot of the symbols are based on the evidence from their coats of arms. And it's usually the ones who are Knights of the Garter, because if you go into St. George's Chapel, the Garter stall plates are still there. So you can go in there and you'll see the one for William Hastings, you'll see the one for Richard III, and you'll see their symbols and things on them. Poor Richard, but he had to lose his head to make way for the War Machine, Edward. Yeah, that's my favourite kind of thing with all this. I mean, obviously, come back to Mortimer's Cross, the one that Leslie was in the chat was playing. And the Lancastrians, even though they were outnumbered, they were very, very overconfident, and they really did think that they were going that this 18-year-old boy, was he 17 at the time? Was he 18? I think he was 18. This 18-year-old boy was going to, just capitulate and walk over. And one of the chroniclers basically is talking about the I can't remember which one is it. Is it Warkworth? I think it's Warkworth, and he was describing sort of before the battle the overconfidence from the Lancastrian side. And this guy's a Lancastrian supporter, and then of course the alleged Sundog appears, and Edward gives his speech, and he uses it to rouse his men, saying, this is the Holy Trinity, and it shows the support for the House of York, and also the fact that he was a wee bit upset about the death of his father and his brother, and he had something to prove. And there you go, Edward IV, undefeated in any battle he took part in, and eventually was beaten by sausage because he ate a lot of it. Once you figure out Nats, it's dead easy. Yeah, absolutely. Where there were loads of water racing games at the other partisan. Good. That's good, because if someone was working on some rules, and it's for sort of the late medieval Wars of the Roses period, and if people have got loads of models already, then there's loads of people to try it out. Hopefully that'll be the case when they're able to playtest. Massive respect for naval surgeons lopping off legs. Oh, dude. Yep, I can imagine that you do, dude. Should you kitbash Perry's Agincourt with the late years to get a knot of 40? Yeah, you can do. I mean, Agincourt's 14, 15. The lower ranks certainly wouldn't have changed very much, I can't imagine. Mary picked up 40 carries cost for 130. Pardon? £136, then started looking at the other prices. Best laugh and sister at Matt put forward, but 130 is a good value. I mean, he's not wrong. Great show. Wow. Well, there we go. Well, what I think we'll do, I'll keep going for another 10 minutes just to get these guys here finished. And then I'll call it a night, because I've got the standard bearer done. The basing's done on those two. This guy is now finished, with the exception of a little bit of dry brushing. So let's get that done now. Oh, I've already got it out. I already have it out. So I'm just going to use a sort of mid-tone brown on the base of his cloak. Then all I've got to do is he'll get based. I'll sort out his shield off of one of these. And then we'll have a look. So yeah, so guys, check out. There'll be a poll going up in the on the channel. And you guys can basically decide what battle report we do next. Remember, if it's not on there, so Black Powder and ECW won't be on there because I've already got game. I'm already sorting out the games to do with that, and or I'm waiting for a specific opponent to come along, like Miller for the ECW, unless Robin can get off his ass and paint a couple of battalion in the next couple of weeks. What do you reckon, Robin? I know you said you had one in 15 mil, but come on, you painted up all that German and French early war stuff in a couple of months. I'm sure you could knock out a couple of battalion in a few weeks. Hello, Nick. How you doing? Can I recommend correct scale 20 million Napoleon fans that don't look like hang gliders? GMB. I just use GMB or Flags of War. GMB or Flags of War. Andy, is anyone interested in going to Taunton next year on the day of the battle to Waterland? Yes, but I won't be able to on that day. But yes, and I keep on driving past Taunton and Ferrybridge all the time. There is walks that go on there, and it starts in the pub. One of the holidays I'd like to do. I say to myself is I'm just going to go like wandering around and sorry, I'll come back. I just saw a later comment and going around all the Wars Races battlefields and working my way up the country. That's an option, Leslie. I don't think of muskets and tomahawks. Yes. But again, I'll need somebody who's got an opposing force who wants to sort of film a battle report. As long as they don't mind being filmed. Because that's how the other one is. Not always people want to sort of take part in battle reports. Sam, you sent Miller some ECW civilians as an extra thanks to the hotel room. Bless him. Our friend Miller accidentally booked 2 hotel rooms. Yeah. What we got here? MMA red spray yet, and then details. You're looking forward to new updated Never Mind the Bill Hooks rules? I'm looking forward to those because I like them. I mean, it's quite funny because, of course, everyone... Andy's come out and said that, it's not a Wars of the Roses rule set. It's a medieval skirmish, small battles rule set with like a Wars of the Roses flavor. And now he's done one he's got this new rule which has got like it's got Burgundians in it. It's got some other bits in it from other European stuff. And, it's not meant to be, again, an accurate representation of warfare in the Wars of the Roses. Which is absolutely fine, but there are some people who I know did get very, very frustrated about it. I like it. I've played a couple of games of it, but as you guys know, the thing is with the Wars of Roses, I like playing on quite a bigger scale. Hence we play it with Hail Caesar and love it. Quite frankly, it does exactly what we need it to do. Obviously, there'll be some updates on the rules I'm working on at the moment, which hopefully people will find fun as well. Hopefully it gets that sort of mid ground again, where it's something that's fun but also kind of reflects the warfare at the time. There we go. So I've got him done. That's the weathering done on him. Let's see, he's still got 6 or so minutes. So 63 of you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you liked it, click the like down below. And if you've got any questions, or if you join later on in stream, there's something you've got a question about that I'm doing, drop it down below. I am going to try and do these. I mean, it's called an irregular painting ramble because I'm not going to be able to say that I can do these every week. But I'll try and do one sort of once a month or something like that. I enjoy doing these, and I'll just try and invest in a better camera than this one. What else have we got here? Doing a battle group game. So Robin's going to teach me how to play battle group, and then we're going to do, and then the idea would be that we do a battle report. So he will teach me the game, and then we'll play it, which is something, again, I'm really, really looking forward to. So I've already got quite a few things lined up for the new year, which is quite cool. What you done, Nick? This week put together and primed 1,000 figures. Oh, wow. Just wow. Oh, it's just a command-based brushing. I mean, to be fair though, yeah, if your weather conditions are going to cause you big problems with that, then I can absolutely see the point in that. I've started warming up all my spray cans now as standard. I didn't used to do it. I just leave them at room temperature in a in the living room or something like that. But I've started just filling up a pan with some warm water and just putting them in that at the start of my painting session, where I know at the end, for example, I'm going to varnish them, because I just use a spray varnish. Right. Oh, this is a question. Someone might be able to help. I'm looking for a very, very shiny, bold gold color. If anyone has got any recommendations, because I use for a base gold, I use, what is it, Retributor Armor from GW, which is a very basic gold. But has anyone got any recommendations on something that's nice and bold that I could use for highlighting? Let me know in the comments or in the chat, and I'll because I was doing something the other day and I was looking and going, I can't really make this brighter in a minute, and I went to my go-to gold, which was one of the molten colors from, I can't even remember who did the molten paints, but it was that one anyway, and I'd run out. So I thought, if not, I'll just buy that one again. But yeah, I'm always happy to look at recommendations. Can you connect your DSLR and use that as a webcam? That's what I do for live streams. I don't have a DSLR, dude. I got one for work, but I don't use a DSLR. But yeah, I have thought about getting one. Who spray varnish? I use. So I've now basically moved to using these Color Forge cans. Hang on. These. I use these now because you get 500. These are 500 ml cans and they're about £9. And there's a big range and they're color matched, and I've not had a problem with them at all. And I think they've got. I think if there's a bit of I think on their website, I think there's a guarantee. So if they do screw up your model, I think you just don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said when I saw him at Warfare last year, and I saw the models that they were doing. So I ordered a couple of cans. So I've got this. I've got Ossified Earth, which is the color that I'm using for the base of my Flames of War miniatures, which is like this kind of beigey sand color, bone color. And I got their white and the black as well, and they're just really nice paints, to be honest. So yeah, well worth checking out. I think they're even doing their own MDF terrain and stuff. I'll tell you what I did try, which was the Troll Trader. Is it TT Combat Sprays? Which is what I bought at Warfare. And they were just lost all their pressure after, I don't know, I think it was about 4 weeks. They just went. Does it help with your matte spray? Yeah. I don't know if it helps that they spray matte and not shiny, but it would help. It certainly helps. It stops like the flecking. There's the rose gold powders or the gold gel pens. That's not a bad idea, actually. Rose gold powders. All right, I'll check them out. Like you say, with gel pens, that's not a bad idea. Wargames Foundry. I do like Wargames Foundry paints. I've got a few of their triads. Liquid metal range. I'm sure it was the liquid metal's the one that I've got, or the molten metal. Vallejo metal, big bottle metallics. That's the thing, but I'm only using them for highlighting. So I'm not going to be using that. Game color, AV bronze. GW will probably have a lighter color. You normally just add steel to highlight gold. Dark Star, that's it. It was Dark Star, dude. The metals, liquid metals, excellent. But if you want coverage on alcohol-based liquid gold, it's impossible to beat. But an additional paint to use. Cheers for recommendations, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Each time my spouse uses their hairspray to get one extra layer, but that's true as well. Color Forge is the same guys that own the outpost. That would be why they're always dispatched from the outpost then. I thought they were just like distributors for it or something, but yeah, okay. That's very cool. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for taking the time tonight to spend it with me. I hope you guys either I've been some company while you paint. You guys are living company for me while I've done this. Nice to just get another little bit in. As I say, I'm going to do try and do these semi regularly. But also, obviously, I've got things to edit and more games to have. So keep your eyes on the community tabs on the channel. If you want any more information about like the membership stuff and all that kind of stuff, or the rules and all of that, that's all in the links down below. Remember, on the Plastic Crack podcast on Monday, we got Glenn from Warbases coming on, which is going to be really, really interesting. Because I've got a lot of questions for him, potentially about how much does it cost to produce counters for games, because I have this idea. Yeah, just keep your eyes peeled, and I'll be back again with you soon. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, and I will see you all again soon. Bye bye.